Poštovani gledalci, dobrodošli u novi intervju SWISHCAST Podcasta. Sa nama je bivši košarkaš Maccabi Tel Aviva, osvajač Euroleague sa ekipom Fenerbahčea, Bonzie Colson. Bonzie, first of all, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Thanks for question. First of all, I wanted to ask you when you picked basketball first time in your life.
Man, so my father's a basketball coach. He coached Boston College for 10 years, so I kind of grew up in the games. So I would say as early as 1, 2, I started picking up, playing with the ball. But, you know, it's kind of something that I've always known, I've always played. I grew up into the game of basketball, and I love it to this day.
Can you tell me your steps from basketball path, from being drafted to joining Maccabi Tel Aviv?
So
That's the period when you went overseas.
Okay,
especially.
so I had a stint with the Milwaukee Bucks. They released me. Then after that, I played my first year overseas. I was with Darüşşafaka in Istanbul, Turkey, and then I played in Strasbourg, France. The year in Darüşşafaka was when COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then Strasbourg after that, then Karşıyaka in Turkey, and then after that, Maccabi and Fenerbahçe. So I've been blessed with playing in good cities, really good teams, and just trying to get to the highest level as possible in Europe.
What are key differences between 2022-23 and 2023-24 seasons with Maccabi?
For me, that was
in season 2023-24, you played in Belgrade.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So especially that timing.
Yeah, obviously, I think anywhere you play your second year, you're more confident. You know the system. You have more of a continuity with your team, which allows you to play better. The second year with your team, obviously, my first year was really great at Maccabi as well. We won everything. We had a really good year in Euroleague. And then, obviously, when the war happened, my second year, we had to come to Belgrade. Belgrade opened us up with a lot of joy, and they opened their arms to us and my family. So it definitely was different playing here with no fans, but we stayed right at the waterfront, which was nice. And we traveled together to practice every day. We all stayed around the waterfront, so we tried to stay connected as best as we can. But it was definitely a hard time for us because as soon as the war happened, we had to pack up as much stuff as we can as quick as possible to get out of there. And, I'm just thankful that Belgrade, allowed us to come and play here.
Did you enjoy the Belgrade when you were here living?
Yeah, it was nice. It was just cold. That was the only thing. Like I was in Israel, which obviously the weather was phenomenal. It was really nice. I was going to the beach every other day. It was good. And then coming here was much colder, so I had to get winter jackets and sweaters, and I had to get a kind of a whole new wardrobe. But yeah, it was nice. I was going to the mall to eat here and there. It was cool.
Speaking of your last season in Maccabi, I spoke with Antonius Cleveland, your former teammate.
Yeah, AC, yeah.
And he told me about that series with Panathinaikos in top 8. So tell me more about that series, especially.
Yeah, that was a long year. We were happy that we got to the playoffs and being able to play with the situation we had at hand. Playing with no fans here the whole year, and then some guys staying in Belgrade, some guys staying in Israel. So it was a long season with some ups and downs, but when it came to playoffs, we played well. Obviously, we came up short. If we would have had Wade, I think we would have won the series, which would have been a little bit different. But we grinded out throughout the whole season. We had the whole country of Israel behind us during that year. We played the game 4. I don't remember a couple of the games here at home during the series, so we had some fans, which was nice. So it was great. I love the playoff intensity. I love the atmosphere. I love playing at Panda's Gym with their fans. So it was a good series, and I'm upset that we came up short, but I was happy to compete.
Now tell me more about that roster you guys had in Maccabi with Lorenzo Brown, your teammates, Wade
Yeah.
Baldwin, Josh Nebo, and few
The
other
second year?
players. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the best backcourt in the league with Lorenzo and Wade, of course, and then we had Josh Nebo, who was just one of the best centers in the league, can jump out the gym.
Amazing dunker.
Yeah, amazing dunker. We had great offense was tremendous with Odette Katash, the way we moved the ball. We had bigs. We could play small ball. We could play tall. So we were definitely very dynamic. And with it being your second year, you kind of know your teammates' strengths and weaknesses, which can help. Obviously, your coaches know you better. They can coach you better and understand you. So we played well. And then we had key additions with AC and James Webb, who had a good season. And, it was just Tamir Blatt as well. So we had a very deep roster. We had a solid team.
Now, speaking of your living from Maccabi, can you compare that to last year's situation when a lot of Paris basketball players left, like TJ Shorts, Tyson Ward, and that team fell down on one summer, and Maccabi also, but a little bit different?
Yeah, to me, I think it's a completely different scenario. Obviously, with the Maccabi, a lot of us had contracts for the next year, so we had to come with agreements to get out because of the war. With Paris, I think a lot of the guys, there was no war with the Paris situation, so because of the war, it caused us to leave because it wasn't safe for our families and ourselves, and traveling back and forth was a lot for us. So it's just two different situations. With Maccabi having fans now, they're on a little bit of a better winning streak. There's more of a momentum from them being back home, so it's a little bit different than they were last year. But every year is different. Paris, they're still a solid team. Obviously, they're not at the level as they were last year. They don't have the same coach. They don't have the same players. So obviously, it's tough. But they're a really talented team. So. It's just different. Every year it can be different for the club depending on who you have and the situations that a team and players deal with.
Last season, when you were in Belgrade for a game against Red Star, I think, you went to Pioneer to watch Maccabi.
Oh, yeah.
And some fans chanted Bonzie, Bonzie. I heard it. I was in the hall. So tell me more about that connection with Maccabi fans.
Yeah, the Maccabi fans, I think, are one of the best in the league in Europe. You really have I had a really strong connection with the fans, of course. Fans give me energy, and I fed off the energy, every game. And throughout that series, throughout that year, we didn't have any fans, and they still were cheering us on. And going to the game last year, I think they played Zagreus, those are my some of them are my close friends and my buddies. We talk to this day, so I wanted to support them as best as I can. So it was good to see them and chat and catch up. So there's no love lost with Maccabi and the fans. I have a great relationship with them. All of the Maccabi players have songs that the Maccabi fans sing. So obviously you engage with them differently. But I love when a crowd goes crazy. I feed off that. So. It was a good relationship.
Now we need to focus about last season's Euroleague win, of course. So tell me more about Final Four and after celebrations. So we heard from the medias that Sharunas went crazy, and you guys, of course, on the when you were back in Istanbul. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, it was a long season, hard season, a lot of ups and downs, but we stood together through it all. We had a really solid roster. We had good continuity. We clicked at the right time. Everybody kind of accepted their role, which I think makes a team great when you could accept the role that you're on within a season and just try to be the best at it and be a perfection. Within your role. We had a great locker room. We had no issues. So I think all those things kind of led us to winning a Euroleague championship. Obviously, we have Cyrus, who's at the head of the snake, who led us and put us in good situations. But, it was a great season. And then we won it, which was amazing. Obviously, you want to win as many championships. Being in Europe, your main goal is to win. It should be to win a Euroleague championship, and we did that. Creating history, and just it was a fun year. Long year, but we won it, so everything kind of paid off. And then, we had a tremendous, fantastic celebration, back in Istanbul, which I think it was like 2 to 4 million people on Baghdad Street, which is like one of the main streets on the Asian side of Istanbul. And we were just having fun. They were cheering us on. We were on a big bus, riding the bus throughout on the highway with us standing on top of the bus with the roof off. So we were just having fun, enjoying it, feeding off of the fans' energy. It was a couple hours long. We're going through the streets. They're cheering, they're yelling, they're throwing stuff at us. We're throwing, scarves and ball. It was a fun atmosphere. And then our families were in the back of us in a whole other bus, so they got to experience it as well. So it was definitely something that I will remember forever. And it was fun. And, this is what it's all about, winning and going back to where it starts, and that's with the fans and the city and just celebrating.
Speaking of team that won Euroleague, you guys now don't have Marko, who was one of key players, and Nigel Davies. So tell me more about those two guys and how much did they influence Fenerbahce's game last season?
Yeah, I mean, Marko and Nigel had a tremendous season last year. Marko's very solid on both sides of the floor. He led us to a lot of big wins. He hit some big shots for us to win, especially when we had some injuries. He led us down the stretch. And Nigel was very solid. He can score. He's a leader. He knows the system, Sarge's system, more than anybody that I know. So he was communicating with us about how we can be better within the system. So we had a really good year, but those two guys are solid leaders, and they're winners at the end of the day, and that's what you need.
Speaking of this season, you guys have 19-2 streak in Euroleague.
19, okay.
Yeah, in last 21 games. So tell me more about this season and what is expectations for the rest of them?
I mean, the expectation is to win everything, to win Euroleague, to win Turkish League, to win everything. That's Fenerbahce. That's what we try to do. Our goal is to win every game, every title there is. And, we're doing our best to do that. Right now we're clicking at the right moment. Everybody's buying into their roles. It wasn't like that a couple, months ago in the beginning of the season. So, it takes some time throughout the year to figure out guys' roles, to find the momentum, and we found it, and now we're clicking, and we just got to keep it up to do our best to win everything and to win as many games as possible and to bring the championship back to Istanbul.
Tell me more about transfer of Taylor Horton-Tucker to Fenerbahce and how much he did for the team.
Yeah, THT, he's very good. He's very good. He wants to learn. Obviously, this is his first year in Europe, so all of us try to help him kind of understand the European style of play, and he was open to learn, and now he's one of the best players in Euroleague. So you can't stop him when he drives. He can shoot the ball, and I think the scary thing is he can improve. There's a lot more where he can improve at. So he's one of the best guards. He's one of the best players in Euroleague. I love to see him hoop. I'm happy to see him playing well, especially during this time of the year. With injuries and with how we're playing, he's at the head of it with him and Wade. So it's been great to see him score and have those highlight moments. It definitely motivates the team and obviously the fans. So we're at home and gives us energy. But he's been great. But he's been open to it, to learning about EuroLeague and about playing in Europe, and he's been great.
What do you expect from Red Star tomorrow, and do you think they can stop your streak?
I mean, Red Stars, it's always tough playing Red Star.
Especially in Belgrade.
I mean, even they beat us at our place. So they're a very aggressive team. They have guards who can shoot it, who can score, who can facilitate. They have centers who are very dominant with Volim and Izindu, and obviously they got Chima down there who can rebound and score. So they're very talented. They know the game. They're going to play very physical. So we have to match their physicality. They're going to play with a lot of energy. We got to match the energy since they're playing at home. We got to match their transition offense because they play at home with a high energy. So, got to play solid transition defense and just play our game and have fun with the game.
Which Belgrade fans you like more, Partisans or Red Stars?
More?
I like to hear this answer.
Like what? I like. I don't know. We'll see. I like them both. I mean, to me, it gets loud. They both get loud. Partisan, if there's a crazy dunk or something, the gym's louder than ever. Same thing at Partisan. If somebody's dunk or a big three, they're both. To me, they're both loud to me. I don't really know which one's which.
Okay.
Do
you see yourself playing in Belgrade in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Belgrade has always been a place that I love their fans. I love the energy. So you never know what can happen. Like I said, I've already kind of lived in Belgrade, so I kind of understand what it's like. So you never know.
Now, for the outro, I need 5 flash answers for you.
Okay.
So, first one, toughest player you've ever guarded?
In Euroleague?
Yeah.
Mike James.
Best teammate you had in your career?
Euroleague or career?
Career, cool.
I'll say Wade Baldwin.
Fenerbahce or Maccabi?
Come on. Both.
Winning Euroleague again or being MVP of the league?
Win Euroleague again.
And what would you be if you weren't a basketball player?
A bodybuilder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And a short message to the fans.
To Fener?
Yeah.
What's going on, Fener fans? We're excited to have you guys cheer us on every game, home and away. We're doing our best to make you guys happy every game. We appreciate you guys giving us energy. Stick with us through the ups and downs like you guys have always been. And let's get it done. Thank you.